Well, the Dutch Women's Council, the Nederlandse Vrouwen Raad, is very pleased to present this parallel online event during the Commission of the Status of Women 2024. Our meeting is titled Stop the Gender-Based Violence, Address Women's Poverty and Dependence. We are proud to present 6 fantastic speakers and welcome the almost, 100 registered participants. My name is Levi Vogelpoel. I'm a representative for the Dutch Female Physicians Society at the Dutch Women's Council, together with Christine Everts, representative of the European Women's Lobby and Observatory on Violence Against Women and Girls, and Monique Beidek, both from the Dutch Women Council. We are your hosts for this meeting. Our chair, Astrid van Heumen, and our UN Women's representative, Hoba Gul, will be joining us too, and for them also a special welcome. I'm happy to introduce 3 speakers for the Single Supermom organization to you. First, Floris, who will share his personal perspective on what it's like for a child to live in poverty, a perspective which he always was also able to share with our Dutch parliament earlier, followed by Isra Lee, his enterprising and brave mother, who is founder and director of the Single Supermom. She was also nominated for the Joker Smith Prize, a Dutch government prize for a person that makes a fundamental contribution to improving the position of women. And last, Bram Hodes will finally finalize their presentation. He's a policy advisor of Single Supermom. He's a Master of Arts degree in philosophy and Master Science in sociology, and will discuss the global status of single parents. Floris, I saw you already. Would you give us the pleasure to start?
Yes, I will. Thank you so much. Well, good morning, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Floris Brussaard. I'm here part of Single Supermom. When I was 14, I wanted to draw attention to the position of single parents and their children in the Netherlands. I did so by giving a speech to my House of Parliament. My bottom line then and now was that child poverty simply does not exist. For there are no rich children with poor parents or poor parents with rich children. Poverty is simply a reality for many households worldwide. I can give you an example. In the Netherlands alone, 16% of all minors grow up in single-parent households. Globally, that number translates to 320 million children growing up with just one parent. 75% of all welfare recipients in the Netherlands are single parents. These parents and their children are hit hard, and they are limited by their children's opportunities. To reduce inequality, we must focus on strengthening the single parents heading these families, instead of giving gifts to children. Oftentimes, we talk about needing to take pity on children, while fundamentally misunderstanding what it is that they need most. In the Netherlands, for example, the government gives gifts like laptops or bicycles, but ultimately, their parents still struggle to pay the electricity bill. They wonder how they can pay the rent and whether they can still buy groceries at the end of the month. In my speech, and now again, I ask for attention for single parents because they are the ones who have to take care of their children. At the end of the day, it's the parents who tuck their children into bed at night. They are the first role models these children see. To break the cycle of poverty, we need to look at how we help parents and increase their opportunities economically to take care of their own families. Let's look together at how we can tackle this challenge and increase the opportunity for single parents and their children worldwide, instead of just solving symptoms of a larger problem. Thank you so much. I'll now give my word to my colleague, Isra Lee.
Hello, thank you, Floris. That was my son. He's now 20. He did the speech when he was 14 years old. My name is Isra Lee. I'm founder, director, and mom of Floris, and I'm also a daughter of a single mom. Yesterday, I was sitting next to another single mom who was carrying her baby in her arm, in her left arm, and in the right arm, she had a stroller with a garbage bag. When I asked her how she was doing, she told me that her whole life was in that garbage bag. I told her I experienced the same thing 21 years ago. The only difference is I didn't have a stroller. I just had my baby in the arm. I still remember the moment I was in a second-hand shop and I wanted to buy a stroller, but I didn't have enough money, so I could only buy the blankets. I told the woman next to me that I think sometimes it's difficult to think positive, but when everything goes wrong in life, the only way you can go is up. And I think it is a great opportunity and a responsibility to stand up for yourself and your children. My mom, I'm an adoptee, never had the chance because I was born in Korea. Single parents are discriminated, and still they are, till the day now, they're being discriminated. My mom never had the opportunity to raise me, so when I became a single mother, and even if it was so difficult, it brought me so much joy because I had the opportunity to create a life for me and my child. Even it brought me so much hard times. I found myself homeless, isolated, and eventually I was, at the age of 22, I had a student debt of $30,000 because I couldn't even finish my study because there was no childcare. Childcare is still, till the day now, it's difficult if you don't have the certainty of you can pay your childcare. So it made me at that time very impossible for me to complicate my study, and I had to live for 7 years in welfare, trapped in poverty. I really wanted to return to school and have access to childcare and work towards an economic independence. However, without having a degree, the only job I was eligible for was packing chickens in a factory for minimum wage. That makes it very difficult you stay vulnerable if you work for minimum wages in the Netherlands, even in the Netherlands. So I realized that if I would start with packing chickens and didn't have another job, it would make me vulnerable. I really wanted to finish my study because I knew having a diploma was really crucial for improving my situation. And I really had to create opportunities for myself and my child. Because having a diploma, doesn't matter where you live in the world, or having a good paid job is a passport for a better life. So I was really determined to make a chance for myself and children and moms in the same situation. And I never stopped doing that. I'm now in a city that never sleeps. I never sleep too. I'm in my, I started very small in my living room, building a network for single mothers, but over time it grew to the largest network for single moms in Netherlands. And we expanded also in Europe. And here at the United Nations, we expanded worldwide. It's very nice. We had a lot of meetings with other single parents organizations. And I really hope that our methods, our courses can be shared with other countries. And we can explore internationally and further to support single parents worldwide. I'm very driven by this mission. I want to ensure that all single parents, regardless of the economic, social, or cultural background, have the opportunity to lead a fulfilling life. I believe it's crucial to shine a spotlight on the challenges faced by single parents. Not only the Netherlands or Europe, globally, because poverty has a face, and mostly it's the face of single moms. I'm very, very proud to announce that our organization is here at United Nations event, where we will advocate. Not alone, I'm doing it with my colleagues and my board members to push the issues and address the issues of single parents. And I want to invite you all to join me, raising awareness and advocating for single parents. If you share my passion and you want to improve the life of single parents, please connect me on LinkedIn. I think it's very important that we create more opportunities to support the single parents and we make a difference. It's also very important to know that there are a lot of other countries who are also economically developed. We should think that all these problems not only exist in countries like Africa, but they exist also just as much in countries as Finland, the Netherlands, as in Uganda and Bangladesh. Every single parent have a different background, socially, culturally, and it's not only caused by divorce, but also by, for example, horrific acts as rape, terrible situations as war and conflict. Single parents should be one on the forefront on every agenda of the United Nations. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
And then last but not least, I was also giving some, or supposed to give some information on single mothers worldwide. So first of all, my name is Bram. I'm a policy officer for Single Supermom, and in this role, I'm also responsible for gathering data, analyzing figures, and facts related to single motherhood. If you need any information or wish to speak with me, feel free to contact me, of course. So first of all, I think it's important to mention that worldwide, around 7.5% of all households are led by single parents, and in 84.3% of these cases, the single parent is a woman, so the vast majority. Absolutely speaking, this means that there are around 200 million single mothers worldwide, and to give some further sense of this, around 100 million of these single mothers also live without any extended family support, for example. So they are really on their own in raising their children and getting by. These single mothers, especially, they are one of the groups of women who are hardest hit by the interplay between gender inequality and the financial poverty caused by it. To give some figures, around 44% of single mothers worldwide have struggled to buy food in the past, which is a terrible fact. Also, they are way more likely than other populations to struggle affording housing. And they also tend to be overrepresented in the lowest income groups in many around the world. In Australia, Finland, the Netherlands, Sweden, and the Czech Republic, the percentage of single mothers belonging to the lowest income groups is even higher than 60%, to give some idea. Also, if you apply a poverty threshold of around 60% of the median income, which is already quite low, and you look at high income countries such as Canada, the US, and Israel, more than 40% of single mothers in these countries are at risk of poverty. So this is a very big problem for this group of women. This is unacceptable, and being a mother, single or with a partner, should not limit one's financial freedom, nor one's autonomy. So in short, we can definitely confidently state that single mothers are hit hard by economic inequality, especially economic inequality caused by patriarchal structures. Nowadays, still, labor is often divided along gender lines, meaning that women are still too often expected to work less or not at all in a formal sense, and take care of household tasks and care responsibilities, whereas men are expected to make the income and, well, don't really care about the household or care responsibilities. And systemic structures such as, for example, laws, which until very recently in most countries around the world were still in place, which actually legally required women to stop working after marriage. But also the fact that around the world nowadays still parental leave is simply not legally enforced. Only maternal leave is legally enforced. These kind of laws and other systemic structures keep this inequality in check. As a consequence, single mothers tend to become financially dependent on their partners during their relationship, meaning that when they become a single mother, suddenly they find themselves in financial dependence, poverty, or having to depend on government support. To conclude, I hope this illustrates why in social science, the socioeconomic status of single mothers is often used as a marker for how well a country is doing in terms of women emancipations in more general terms. Furthermore, it seems logical to expect a policy focused on emancipating women, especially when it concerns economic emancipation, like this year's CSW, that it pays specific attention to the needs of single mothers. However, we at Single Supermom do not believe that this is the case. If single mothers receive any attention, we feel it is often as an afterthought or mentioned in some discussion, but not concretely incorporated into any specific policies. And this, whilst explicitly mentioning them and finding ways of responding to their specific vulnerabilities, can be extremely fruitful, not just for single mothers, but for all women who experience poverty as a consequence of the patriarchy. Therefore, I wholeheartedly recommend and humbly ask you, all of you present today, to pay attention to and ask attention for single mothers anytime the opportunity presents itself. Thank you very much for listening. That's it.
Thank you very much, all of you, all three of you from Single Mom, for this valuable information. A little bit disturbing still, but giving us the confirmation that there's still a lot of work to do. I kindly want to ask if there are any questions for Single Supermom at this moment.
There aren't any questions at this point in the chat, but if it's okay, I would like to ask a question because I hear you say that we need to support single moms specifically, but I also heard Isra talk about single parents and single moms, that you support single parents as well. Do you work on both areas, or do you specifically focus on single moms?
Here at United Nations, I focus on single moms, but just for your information, yeah, of course, there's also, for every single mom, there's a single dad. And I think if we share the roles and we balance the work and caring task more, a woman have more opportunity and more time for themselves in developing and being economically independent. Certainly women who are now living in poverty would have a lot of, they need a lot of help by raising the children and get out of poverty.
Are there any questions in the chat? No. Then maybe there's still time. Can I ask a question to Floris? Floris, combating poverty has become a major issue in the last Dutch elections. I have a hunch that your actions towards the parliament have contributed to this. Do you have the feeling that politicians are on the right track at this time?
Yeah, I really don't think they are a lot of the times, because it's no matter how many speeches we give, no matter how many times we raise attention for these issues, there still is this atmosphere of giving gifts to children. I think a lot of politicians especially are seeking votes and it being a more digestible or attractive vision toward combating single parent inequality and poverty, to focus on the children instead of the more underlying causes.
Okay, dus there will be a job to us to advocate
we call
right?
it like the pleistersplakken in Holland, and in English it's Floris.
Yeah, it's applying bandages instead of solving the major wound.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why the United Nations meeting is so important, because I do think poverty has a face, and it's a face of all women around the world, from Finland to Bangladesh, from Bangladesh to India. Around the world, there are more than 220 million kids living with single moms, and it's so important because even also in the Netherlands, 9% of all the children are born by a single mom. So. On the other hand, we can say it's good that the emancipation of women, for example, in Holland, they're there to become a single parent, but it's not good that 75% are living in poverty. So it's not by choosing to become a single parent living in poverty. I don't think that's a good following.
Consequence. Yes, I understand. I'm looking at are there if there are no other questions in the chat, I would proceed.